I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet who I think can do some good.
They're bad guys.
Exactly. And if anything goes wrong, we blame them. We have built-in deniability.
What makes you think you can control them?
Because getting people to act against their own self-interest is what I do for a living.
Well, what's going on here?
Well, Max, this may be too much for you guys, but let me give you the bottom line as I see it. Most terrorists are false flag terrorists or are created by our own security services. Here in the United States, every single terrorist incident we have had has been a false flag or has been an informant pushed on by the FBI.
Military, paramilitary, economic, political activities designed to affect events in other countries in which the participation of the United States can be concealed, or, as the language of the Act tells us, if revealed, can plausibly be denied. So plausible deniability has been a big part of it.
And if anything goes wrong, we blame them. We have built-in deniability.
There is no war on terror. There is a war that is being waged using proxy groups, terrorist proxy groups, and they are being used against nation states who are resisting US and Israeli hegemony. You now have terrorist attacks being committed by terrorists funded, armed and trained by Western intelligence agencies. There is no such thing as ISIS. ISIS is a creation of the United States. We know that from official sources of the US military themselves. Declassified documents from the Defense Intelligence Agency have confirmed that there is a war that is becoming global, that is being waged against civilian populations in particular. It is a form of neo-imperialism and neo-colonialism which aims to divide and conquer European and Middle Eastern and African and the world's population, for that matter, and to make them submit to a global order that does not serve the interests of most of the people on this planet, but that does serve the interests of a very few ruling elite, a very small, tiny, and particularly tyrannical ruling elite. And the only way in which they can kind of keep everybody down is by a policy of divide and conquer. And that is going to create massive social unrest. It's going to divide working people against each other. And the only people who are going to actually benefit from this are the war contractors, the military, industrial, media, intelligence complex.
Are you the devil?
All you need to know is you work for me.
That the joke was on me.
So that's it, huh? We're the patsies.
An overseas entity that was capable of conducting operations or activities of assistance to U.S. foreign policy goals, that was a standalone, it was self-financing, independent of appropriated monies, and capable of conducting activities similar to the ones that we had conducted here.
And as I understand your testimony, Director Casey was proposing to you that a CIA outside of the CIA be created. Fair?
No.
Well, wasn't this an organization that would be able to do covert policy to advance U.S. foreign policy interests?
Well, not necessarily all covert. The director was interested in the ability to go to an existing, as he put it, off-the-shelf, self-sustaining, stand-alone entity that could perform certain activities on behalf of the United States. And as I tried to describe to the committee last night in the executive session, several of those activities were discussed with both Director Casey and with Admiral Poindexter. Some of those were to be conducted jointly by other friendly intelligence services.
Colonel.
But they needed money.
Colonel.
Yes, Counsel.
You understood that the CIA is funded by the United States government, correct?
That is correct.
You understood that the United States government put certain limitations on what the CIA could do, correct?
That is correct.
And I ask you today, after all you've gone through, are you not shocked that the Director of Central Intelligence is proposing to you the creation of a organization to do these kinds of things outside of his own organization? And is it a fact, sir, that it was purchased out of the funds that were generated by the Iranian arms sale?
It didn't cost the taxpayers of the United States a cent. And you and I both know there were many sources for the funds that went into those accounts.
Those accounts were the enterprise accounts?
I never referred to them as the enterprise.
I don't blame
referred
you.
to them
Lake
by
account.
several. The Lake account was the money in.
Project Democracy. You
Thank
use
you.
terms like that.
We had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting.
I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes.
Yes, let's fight against ISIL-ISIS forces by speeding up the training of ISIL-ISIS forces.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
A meeting in the White House over 2 years ago, everyone in the national security team recommended arming ISIS.
I've been skeptical from the get-go about the notion that we were going to effectively create this proxy army inside of Syria. Tonight I call on Congress again to give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters.
Вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники. В основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги?
Know what they say about the crazy ones?
Huh? If I'd only see
Oh, I'm not going to kill you.
that the joke was on me.
I'm just going to hurt you. Really, really